Hello there. If you don't already know me, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Adel Comeli, and I'm a small business owner of Wonderful Creations LA. I provide services to the public such as photography, I do videography, content creating, housekeeping, house sitting, and I do much more. On my channel, I like to talk about grants, resources, business talk, I do news updates, and I also vlog. Today is super amazingly fantastic, and I hope you're having a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is that you're having when you're watching this video. I hope it's going great. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the following. I will be updating you on the latest grant information, including the EIDL, the EIDL loan, the EIDL supplemental advance, and I'm going to be talking about more grants that are for small businesses. And you know what that means is free money for your business. I will also be talking about the Unemployment Development Department. It's a very hot topic and a lot of people are having issues and they're stuck on pending. So today on my channel, in this exact video, I'm going to teach you how to go from pending to paid. This is a legal disclaimer. I do not work for the Unemployment Development Department, nor do I represent any companies mentioned in this video. I am by no means giving you any legal advice. This video is made for educational and entertainment purposes and does not impose to represent any of the entities mentioned in this video. So as we're beginning to jump and start this video, make sure you get your snacks, get all comfortable, because we're gonna dive into some very important information. And before we do, please make sure to like this video. Hit that notification bell to get my latest updates of all my newest videos. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Help a brother out as I help you get blessed.
Water, earth, fire, air.
We will start off by talking about this SBA loan increase. A lot of people have been waiting nearly 3 months, if not longer, to get approved for the SBA loan increase, right? So a lot of people, what they don't understand is this is a process. There's different phases to getting approved or denied for this. So I felt it very important to let you guys know a little update and what to expect. So if we know what to expect, then we understand why we're waiting, right, in the queue that we're in. So first and foremost, in order for us to understand the process, we need to understand the different phases of this application. I was able to speak to an awesome representative at the SBA, and they gave me a lot of valuable information. And it also helped me understand why I have been waiting about 3 months to get approved for this. Without further ado, let's cover up the basics. First, obviously, you applied for the loan increase. I'm assuming that you got the link. And by the way, if you have not received the link, please comment down below if you have any questions in regards to this topic. I also am making another video, so you most definitely want to watch that because I cover way more than just this. I'm just giving you guys a brief update because I feel it very important. A lot of people are talking about this and not enough people are covering it on YouTube. So I just really wanted to give you guys this very important information, right? So first and foremost, you're going to apply for the SBA loan increase. You receive the link, and then after, right, you haven't gotten a response from them, you follow the prompt, you signed, you did all the signatures that they needed from you, and you're still waiting. Second step is if the SBA needs further information to help process your application, they're going to send you an email stating that they're missing these and these documents, right, for your business for whatever reason. After that happens, step number 3 comes in. So either you get assigned to a loan officer or a case manager. However, they still need to verify verify the authenticity of your information. So obviously the third step is when a loan officer or a case manager comes in, reviews your information, verifies it. Then step number 4 comes in. It gets handled and basically your information gets transferred over to the processing department and dispersing center. That department in fact is responsible and handles all the cases. Then when it gets down to that department, then step number 5 is either a decision is made. When I say a decision is made, you either get approved or you get denied. After it gets denied, if it gets denied, then you get sent over to the reconsideration team. With all those steps being in place, please understand this is the reason why you're waiting. Please don't misunderstand me. I don't justify the SBA taking such a long time just to get back to our loan increase request. I don't justify that. However, nonetheless, when I spoke to the SBA representative, this information helped me understand why I'm still waiting. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. At one point, I just thought it just got handed over to the loan officer. I didn't think it had to get transferred to so many departments in order for me to get either approved or denied, right? I just genuinely thought that first I apply and then it goes to a loan officer. It's not that easy. It literally has to be transferred to different departments within the SBA to verify the authenticity. And I can truly understand that because as we all know, there's been a lot of fraud lately, and just overall in the pandemic, people have gone extra creative and a lot of information has been mishandled. So with all that being said, that's one form that they have to fight against fraud, is to verify the documentation that we submit. So I just want to give you guys that small piece because hopefully it gives you comfort and it gives you understanding. Also, for all you SBA applicants, and if you're interested in learning more about the loan increase and other topics such as the SBA advance and the supplemental advance, please make sure to look at this video up top in the right hand corner of your screen, because I made a separate video, a separate update that's going to give you so much more valuable information just like this, but way more valuable. I'm going to teach you guys how to receive the link from the SBA, and it's such a big blessing because I was in a situation with my friend that I helped her out and she got results. So most definitely go click that video link after you're done watching this video. Next, we're going to be talking about the SBA targeted advance and the supplemental advance, also known as a 10K advance and up to 5K advance for small businesses that have been impacted due to COVID-19. If you're one of the many applicants that has not received their EIDL advance or supplemental advance link, because obviously we all know with those opportunities there has to be an invitation sent to you. If you don't have an invitation for none of these grants, then unfortunately you cannot apply. So in order for you to obtain one of these links, you have to receive that invitation. So this is what I'm going to be covering, just a quick snippet. I have 2 ways about obtaining the link. First and foremost, what you want to do is you're going to have to write an email. Follow the screen as you see on here, as I wrote a template, right? This is for example purposes. You're going to write in the subject your application number. You're going to follow the prompt basically in this example that I have for you guys on the screen. Then after you do that, you're going to get a response from the SBA through email. Sometimes it's automatically and immediately you get a response, but nonetheless, I would highly suggest you guys follow this strategy, because I'm being honest, this happened to me too. I know somebody that was in a situation where they did not get their link. The SBA was claiming that they sent it, which was kind of weird, right? Like, how are we gonna argue with the SBA letting them know, hey, we haven't received a link or an invitation for these advances or these grants, and then the SBA is sitting up here saying that they did send it, when in fact we checked all their emails and they didn't get any type of invitation from the SBA in regards to these grants. So I would highly suggest you guys look at the email address in my video. With all that being said, I would highly suggest you literally write this email address down, literally take a screenshot or something like that, whatever is easier for you. record this email address, respond to them, let them know your inquiry. Like I said, follow the template that I have here. For example purposes, you're going to replace the information I have on the screen with your information. Make sure any type of correspondence you get from the SBA, it has SBA.gov. Why? Because you want to make sure it's not spammy, or any information can be sensitive that you send. So make sure if you get a response from anybody claiming to be SBA, it has to be at SBA.gov. With that being said, I'm just being honest. I had a friend do this and the SBA kept messaging them back. It may seem like there's no hope, but I'm just being honest with you guys. If you guys follow this method, there's a likelihood of SBA feeling obligated to have to send you that link. The reason that I'm saying this is because if you show them that you're persistent and you stand out more than the other applicants, in my personal opinion, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not giving you any legal advice and I can't assure you that you're going to get the link. What I can just do is give you my opinion, in which I'm doing so right now, to helping you reach that goal to getting that link. With that being said, I would highly suggest you guys do this because, like I said, I think in my opinion, if the SBA sees that your application stands out because you're so persistent, then there's a likelihood of them feeling obligated to send you the invitation link. And obviously send you the invitation link within limitation. And what I mean by that is, obviously you looked up the requirements online and you're sure that you do qualify for this program. What they're going to do is automatically respond to you and they're going to say, well, we're still getting back to people. It's like basically an automated response. After you get that response, I will highly suggest you keep following that method. Keep emailing them. I'm being very honest. And the reason, like I said, is because your persistence, one way or another, will pay off eventually. And with that being said, one of my great friends did this and they followed this method and she was able to get a response from them. For the sake of time, I can't talk about everything right now, but if you're interested to learn more about the targeted EIDL advance and the supplemental advance, make sure you check out that video as I give you the latest updates of the SBA targeted advance, supplemental advance, and loan increase.
You wanna catch his hands, I'll catch you in the street, so with that beef.
Finally, we're here. In this part of this video, I'm going to be talking about the unemployment, how to go from pending to paid. But before all that, I just want to let you guys know what to expect. It's so important for us to understand what to expect because unfortunately, the Unemployment Development Department has not done such a great or thorough job in regards to letting us know what to expect. So in order for us to really understand how to go from pending to paid, we need to understand what to expect before we get to paid. If you're a first applicant, this is what you need to do in order to get paid. First order of business, you want to make sure you apply. It's very important to apply correctly for the EDD unemployment claims. A lot of people, just like myself, unfortunately did not apply correctly for a claim. A lot of people just applied in a weird way because I'm one of the many victims that did not know anything about unemployment. I didn't know how it worked. I went to the website and I was so desperate because I didn't understand how to fill out an application in order to get paid or to just even be in their system registered. Honestly, the first tip that I would give you guys in my video is not just apply, but make sure you apply correctly. I know on YouTube there's a lot of videos teaching you how to apply for Unemployment Development Department for the first time. So that's the first thing you want to do is apply, but not just apply, but apply correctly, because if your application is there correctly, then there's no misunderstandings and it's literally in the queue to get processed. Step number 2. Right? Traditionally, outside of COVID-19, they didn't have us verify IDs. Why? Because it was not a requirement. That requirement did not exist from my understanding, in my opinion. The reason that I'm saying this is because there was no big cases of fraud reported. As we all know, ever since COVID-19 hit, a lot of people got extra creative even more, and they started to do fraud in the unemployment development department. This is why the step number 2 exists, is in order to prevent fraud, right? It's a means of security, and I think, in my opinion, it's not the funnest process, but I would understand why it exists. It's because of all the fraud that's happening. One tip that I will give you in regards to the Verify ID Me process, and a lot of people don't get it right the first time. I hope to God that this is your first time doing the Verify ID Me and you're listening to this video, because I'm going to give you very, very, very important tips. I myself was in a position where I had to verify my ID, right? And I unfortunately was on the verge of having to video call them. You want to make sure you get it right the first time, because you do not want to be on the video call. First and foremost, when you're taking a picture of your ID, make sure you're in a settings where there's great lighting. And I'm not talking about natural lighting. I'm talking about supernatural lighting, like room lighting, all that stuff. You want to make sure when you're taking a picture of your ID that it's legible. They can read it, they can understand it, it's not blurry, it's nice and bright, and the information there is very readable. That's the first tip I'm gonna give you guys, because it took me like 2 tries the most, and I was starting to get a little nervous. I was like, man, you know, if this doesn't go through, they're gonna give me a harder time. So in order for us to prevent getting into the video call, we want to make sure that we have great lighting when taking the picture of your identity. Go inside your bathroom, go inside a place within your household that they have great lighting, and I would say take it on a desk, take it on a table, take the picture in a place where it's not blurry. The second tip I would give you is when taking the selfie. This is advanced technology. We're talking about the ID Me portal is advanced technology. And with that being said, when taking a selfie, you want to make sure that you have great superficial lighting. So what I mean by that is obviously your bedroom, your living room, whatever room you go to take the selfie, make sure you have great lighting on your face. It's not overexposed or underexposed. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that the lighting is nice and crisp on your face, because like I said, the technology behind the ID Me is very advanced. So you want to make sure when taking that selfie picture, it's really good exposure, because that helps influence the results and if they're going to receive that as a form of identification. Obviously, I'm giving you all this information in order for you to avoid being in this next predicament. But what could happen is if there's too many attempts and they're all unsuccessful, what they're going to do is have you video call a representative. And in my opinion, that's a really big burden. I know somebody that it took them a week in order to get a response with the representative. It is not a fun process. A lot of people have reported that they have been on their screens. They have waited hours and hours and days, and not even just days, weeks and months. I'm talking about, like, seriously, this is what could happen. If you get stuck with the video call, unfortunately, there's no way around it. There's no hack. You literally have to wait it out. Before I go and talk about the step number 3, I want to give you guys a really big tip. If you have not received your Verify ID Me link, then I would highly suggest you watch this video I put right on the top right corner. This video will teach you how to contact the Unemployment Development Department and let them know. You're going to send them a request in that comment, and you're going to say, hey, I haven't received my link to verify my identity. Please send it to me, because this is a reason why a lot of people are also stuck on pending. And it's not just, I'm not talking about pending for a couple of days. There has been a lot of people literally stuck on pending just because they have not received their Verify Identity link. Verifying your identity is literally so crucial, because as far as I'm aware, when I go to the Unemployment Development Department website, it states that in order for them to pay you, you have to verify your your identity. In other words, it literally is a requirement. That's why a lot of people are still stuck on pending. So in order for you to go from pending to paid, you have to verify your identity. That's one of the ways that's going to help you. I would like to know if you have any questions in regards to the Unemployment Development Department. Make sure you drop down your questions in the comments down below. I will do my very best to answer your questions to my best ability. And if I don't have the answers to your questions, I'll end up calling the Unemployment Development Department in order to get those questions answered. If you're enjoying this type of content and you're getting value from it, please make sure to give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. I always have important updates, not just about the Unemployment Development Department, but about resources. Make sure you stay tuned in because I have so much more to give you guys. Without further ado, let's continue. Let's resume with the first applicants, right? For step number 3. Now, all you have to do is wait 2 to 3 weeks. I know ideally 2 or 3 weeks can be a long time, especially if you're in need of funds and you don't have access to work or any financial support. I can understand why that's a long time. However, the reason that I'm creating this video and I give you guys information is I want you guys to understand this is a process as well. The Unemployment Development Department for the state of California states on their website it takes 2 to 3 weeks to process a new application, estimated. Now, with all that being said, you verified your identity, you're waiting 2 to 3 weeks, then step number 4 kicks in. You're going to contact the EDD, and basically what you're going to do through this contact is I really personally believe that persistence will pay off some way, one way or another. And the way you can start being persistent is by literally contacting the EDD through the email method. I have another link on the top right corner of this video to teach you how to contact them through the email method. This is very important because, like I said before, if you contact them multiple of times, in my personal opinion, I've seen results of this. There's a great likelihood, in my personal opinion, that they're going to see that your request is urgent. And when they see that your request is urgent, there's another probability that they will try to process your information in a more prompt time. After you contacted the EDD, then step number 5 kicks in. You're going to be able to certify for your benefits. After you certify for your benefits, you're literally going to state that you either made this amount of money for X amount of time. That's very important because they need to understand the history of your workforce, and a lot of people don't understand this, but I spoke to a representative not so long ago. She gave me so much valuable information, and she practically told me that it's not just about people getting funded for the unemployment benefits. It's also the companies that you worked for in the past. They're the ones that are providing the funds for unemployment. They're the ones that are basically paying you indirectly. With that being said, this is the way unemployment works. Unemployment is the middleman. The workforce that you worked for, your previous employer, is the one paying the claim, and then there's you, the employee, is the one receiving the claim. So the way it works is the employer has insurance, and their insurance is paying the Unemployment Development Department. After the insurance gives them that payment, the Unemployment Development Department verifies the authenticity of the business. They contact them to make sure they're an existing business, and then secondly, then they contact obviously the employee, which is being you, the applicant. Then after everything's established within that amount of time, then after you certify for your benefits and they did all that, then step number 6 comes in. You get a Bank of America debit card. There's your claim, and then there's an account to transfer that claim into that account. After you receive your B of A debit card, you're going to wait 2 to 3 weeks after certifying for your benefits and receiving your card to get paid. And step number 7, the best step out of all of them, is you're going to get paid. Another thing to consider that a lot of people don't talk about on YouTube is Another reason why people are stuck on pending, let's say for a long time you did not work, unfortunately, for whatever reason, due to COVID-19. Obviously, everything has to be related to COVID-19. Well, let's say you didn't work for 5 to 6 months, and then after 6 months, what do you know, your job opens back up again and you start working, you're employed, right? Then you start reporting income. This is why a lot of people are also stuck on pending. It's because the system doesn't recognize that type of activity. So once it does not recognize that activity, meaning you did not work for a long time and then you start reporting income, but the system does, it kind of flags your account. It's nothing like too crazy, but what I found out from speaking to that very awesome representative, she gave me so much valuable information, and she told me that basically what the system does is it flags your account. So what you need to do in order to remove that freeze on your account is you need to call them, get transferred to a tier 2 specialist, and have them remove that freeze. The reason why you need to get transferred to a tier 2 rep, the tier 1 rep is not comfortable and not confident enough to remove that freeze. They could personally do it from what I was told from that representative, but unfortunately a lot of them don't want to risk getting in trouble. They could potentially get in trouble if they don't do it correct. With that being said, it's very important to get transferred to a tier rep because they have the authority to not only remove but they obviously understand how to remove that freeze. They basically do that when they don't recognize that type of activity. Just the system automatically does it on its own. So in order to get from pending to paid, if you're one of those applicants that started working after some time that you received unemployment and you didn't work within that period, and now in this season you started working, you started reporting income, and you know, because in a lot of cases it's not just about reporting your income, but it's also about them paying you the difference if you made a certain amount. Like if, for example, if you made less, like a little less than what you should have made when you were fully employed, they will pay you out a difference. I can't tell you that difference amount because every case is different. I'm going to teach you what to expect when reapplying for a new claim. First and foremost, when you apply for a new claim, please make sure you don't create a new account. Why? Because in my opinion, that can cause a lot of difficulties. And what I mean by difficulties is it could confuse the system now that you applied for a new claim within your existing account. Second step is you're most likely to verify your ID. If you already verified your ID and you're just reapplying, good news is you won't have to do that because you already applied it somewhere along the line. From what I was told from a representative from the Unemployment Development Department, they were able to tell me that if you verified your ID in the past, you don't have to do it all over again. They basically did that in order to prevent fraud, and if you complied with their requirement, then you're not required to do it all over again. Then after that, obviously you apply for a new claim. It's very similar to the old claim that you had or you previously, because it is for people that are reapplying for the new claim. Basically, you're gonna wait 2 to 3 weeks estimated. It's very standard because, like I said, they just have to verify the authenticity of your information. Now, step number 4. This step shouldn't exist, but the reason that I'm creating this step number 4, I believe that if you're persistent, they will have to feel the urgency of your request. And like I said, they're going to see your application stand out. They're going to see, wow, like this person's constantly messaging us. Step number 5, certify for benefits. So obviously, because you already had an existing card, you're going to keep that card because that's where they're going to pay you your benefits. After certifying for your benefits, then the best part comes, you get paid. That's how you go from pending to paid when reapplying for a new claim. So if you have a very important question that a lot of people have probably not answered on YouTube, or you have a question in regards to this topic, please comment down below because I want to do my very best to be a blessing to you guys and make sure you guys go from pending to paid, because it's not just about me going from pending to paid. This video is about you guys and you guys getting the help you need in order to get blessed. So I really want to just throw that out there because there's a lot of questions surfacing because of this topic, and please take advantage of this window because I want to help as many as people as possible. And like I said, I don't mind calling the EDD. I just want to make sure I get in a lot of questions that I'm probably not familiar how to solve in order to get them solved effectively, and ask an agent that works for the Unemployment Development Department for the state of California. Next, we're going to be talking about a very, very important matter, okay? When I spoke to this super awesome representative, and by the way, you guys, I forgot to mention, if you guys see her in my comments, there is a possibility of the agent actually answer some of your questions. She was fortunate enough to get my YouTube information, and she did subscribe to my channel. Her name is Akua. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it correctly. If you're listening, please forgive me if I said it incorrectly, but nonetheless, yes, I spoke to her. She was super awesome, very knowledgeable. And another reason why a lot of people are stuck on pending is because the Unemployment Development Department, what they do is when they receive your request to file a claim for a job that you worked for, what they end up doing is contacting that previously employer. When they reach out to them and they don't give them the information they need in order to process your claim, they unfortunately can't process it unless the employer information is correct. A lot of the times what ends up happening is that the employer is not getting back to them, so the Unemployment Development Department contact that employer, but unfortunately they just don't pick up the phone or they miss their calls. So what ends up happening is, unfortunately, because the employer does not give them the information or they don't even answer their calls, Unemployment Development Department cannot give you any type of compensation or pay you out any money from a claim unless you have been working at a place for at least 6 months, and it has to be at no fault of your own. So if you worked for a employer and you stop working due to COVID-19, then that employer has a responsibility to correspond to them in order for you to get paid. A lot of times the employers unfortunately don't contact them back, or they just don't answer their calls, so the Unemployment Development Department is not allowed to process a claim unless they have the employer information. But what I would suggest you do if you're one of those people that has been pending for months, I would highly suggest you contact your former employer and ask them if the Unemployment Development Department has contacted them to see if you could get paid. Because like I said, if they don't contact them, then unfortunately they cannot process a claim. You must have worked at a place for at least 6 months. So that's another reason why people are pending. And in order for you to go from pending to paid, if you're in that situation, you need to contact your former employer, let them know that you're going on unemployment, and I'm pretty sure, obviously if it's related to COVID-19, then they'll do it. Now that we mentioned that, another predicament that you can be stuck in is, let's say you file for unemployment and you did everything correctly, you verified your ID, but unfortunately you see a lot of weeks or even up to month pending. Well, the reason for that is there is a possibility, like the associate told me, the employer, for whatever reason, and it doesn't have to be a fault of your own, has the ability to not want to give you paid out claim. And what I mean by that is your ex-employer, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be your fault, they can choose to not put you on unemployment for whatever reason, and it doesn't have to be your fault. And I was very curious because I was like, what? I didn't know all this information, right? But when I spoke to this super awesome representative, she was able to give me insight on how it worked. In order for you to get paid, I would highly suggest you contact your ex-employer or whatever employer you put that you worked for in the duration of you wanting to get paid for unemployment. Make sure you contact them in regards to this topic, because obviously you don't want to be hindered just because they didn't reply back to the Unemployment Development Department if it's legitimate that you do qualify for an unemployment claim. With that being said, that's all you have to do is just contact them, and you could even ask them if they choose not to put you on unemployment. Ask them and be like, hey, why didn't you guys allow me to go on unemployment if due to COVID-19 our business was closed? And there's a possibility that they'll disclose that information to you. But that's another reason why people are stuck on pending. So make sure you contact them. You could feel free after speaking to your ex-employer and they give you the green light to get benefits, then you can contact the Unemployment Development Department, ask to get to transfer to a tier 2 specialist. They can generously contact them in order to get that situation resolved, so your pending can go to pay. Obviously, it's not going to go from pending to pay right away. They have to verify that information. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the very uncommon talked about topic in regards to the unemployment from pending to paid, right? Obviously, this is the goal of this topic, is to get you from pending to paid. Unfortunately, I really have to talk about this. Please do not feel as if though I'm targeting any specific people, but this does have to be talked about because after speaking to the representative, this is the information I collected. So unfortunately, there has been fraud, right? And fraud isn't just always the typical fraud definition of people getting people's information and faking it. Fraud also involves to put falsifying information on your claim. So if I stated that I supposedly worked for this specific restaurant, I give them the information there, then what they do is they don't just receive that information, they literally have to verify it. They're going to call that specific business. In a lot of cases, they'll do that. They'll verify that you worked, what days you worked, from what time to what time, and just overall they want to make sure that that information's correct. So there are applicants, as I heard from this specific agent, that are applying for unemployment and they're not being realistic in the sense where they literally falsified information, stated that they worked at a specific place, and then when Unemployment Development Department tries to process their claim, they're surprised why they're still on pending. And I'm not making this up. When I spoke to this representative, this is exactly what she told me. I'm not saying every single one of them is fraud. I'm not saying you're a fraud watching this, but what I am saying is it is true. There are people doing fraud out there by falsifying information. So if your application is falsified, then unfortunately you shouldn't be surprised why you're still on pending. You're on pending because you didn't work at that specific place, and if that's you, I would highly suggest you not do that because it could harm you in the long run. What Unemployment Development Department can do is they have the potential to flag your account and literally burn you off their system. Although you have a social security number, that's something to consider. Unfortunately, not everybody is doing everything correctly, and they will stay on pending because their information cannot be verified through that employer. I don't mean to be this person where I'm trying to blame people. This is the information that the agent gave me, and I did want to put it out there because we have to be realistic with ourselves. If we never worked at a specific employer and we're saying that we do, then we can't be surprised, or we shouldn't be surprised on why we're still on pending. Now that that's been established, let's talk about, drum roll please, which numbers to contact the Unemployment Development Department. What times are the best times to contact them? By the way, I hope you had an amazing Independence holiday. I myself ended up just staying home, and half of the day I ended up going to work, which was actually pretty fun. I know, right? Who works on the holidays? This guy right here. I was like, you know what? I'm not really doing much here at home, so I don't mind going to work for a couple hours. Ended up being that the customers were really laid back and awesome, so I'm just really thankful. Although I worked, I ended up having a really amazing Independence Day. I also wanted to take up some time to thank all my viewers, my subscribers, all of you there that comment on my posts. I just really want to thank you for your support and considering to watch my videos. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. One of the best numbers to call is this one, and the reason that I'm saying it is because I have gotten so much results from calling this number. You're gonna dial 833-978-2511. You're gonna select from the following options. When you hear the operator speaking, immediately press pound. Don't try to wait any seconds. As long as you hear the operator speaking, you're gonna press pound. then what it does, it kind of switches up the menu and it sends you somewhere else. I don't know how to explain it. I just know that it works. After you press pound, you're gonna wait about 30 to 45 seconds. You're gonna choose from the following options. You're gonna press 121, and what essentially that does is it transfers you to a live agent if your call goes through. In regards to the best times to call during the weekdays, I would highly suggest you call exactly at 8 a.m. The reason that I'm saying 8 a.m. is because there is going to be a specific amount of calls that are allowed to go through, because what the system does is if it receives an overwhelming amount of calls, unfortunately there's going to be a half of calls that go through and there's going to be another half that just don't, and it's going to say, hey, thank you for contacting Unemployment Development Department. We're sorry that we can't get to your call right now, but please try again later. So obviously I'm suggesting at 8 a.m. exactly, because if you call at 8:01 a.m. there is a possibility, because they have so much calls and they receive so much calls at exactly at 8 a.m. their capacity limit has been reached. So I would highly suggest you call exactly at 8 a.m. Although I didn't put it on the screen, I forgot to do it. Another recommendation I would give you guys is to call between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the weekdays. The reason that I'm saying that is because I was able to call between that time. I ended up calling twice and the second call went through. Once it ended up going through, it was really awesome because all I did was wait 20 minutes. Although I can't guarantee the same results for you, I can just advise you and give you my opinion and recommendation because it worked for me. And if you're calling on the weekends between Saturday and Sunday, the live representative told me that it's best to call between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. The reason for that is, surprisingly enough, she reported that there's a lot of people going to church and going to religious assemblies and gatherings. That's why that's the best time to call, because there's less traffic. Wait, so what am I gonna do next? That's the thing. What am I gonna do next right now? Okay, so I'm going to. Wait, what was I gonna do? This YouTube live is a lifestyle, okay? Okay, partner. Giddy up, partner. Educational and. Bro, I messed it up. No, I got that one wrong too. Okay, all right. Okay. This. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Little shoe. This is my little shoe, mate. Okay. Let's get back. Let me regain my composure right now, because it's drifting away. Let me get it back. Let me get it back.